So the third group that I decided to look on their website was the Jewish Defense League, and their idea is that Jews should be able to fight back when they are attacked and to protect Jews from anti-Semitism wherever and by whatever means are necessary. And again, the origin of this group sounded um, fairly good. Like, yeah, they're gonna protect Jews from anti-Semites. Jews are definitely a very oppressed race over pretty much throughout history in every country where they decide to make their residence. And this group is also quite Zionistic as well. But the directions in which they direct their threats and actions is quite not exactly the best or the most appropriate way of doing so, such as after the 9/11 attacks in the various areas of the country where this group is headquartered and has a strong membership. They would go to Arab businesses, offices of Arab politicians, and cause trouble, break windows, burn it down, try to assassinate Arab leaders. I remember there were a few reports of like threatened like lynchings and stuff like that, and these guys had something to do with that, and they're very they get very upset about various lawmakers who would vote against like selling weapons to Israel and stuff like that, and advocate for guerrilla warfare and to assassinate these leaders and stuff. And a lot of these Jewish defense leaders themselves have ended up in prison for the actions that they've committed. I decided to find this group because a couple of weeks ago, I'll have an article underneath this. I was reading about how there's like the new controversy between the United States and Israel is what's going on in the West Bank. The United States and the Palestinians were under the impression that for a sort of peace agreement, or at least ceasefire, Israel had agreed to stop building, I don't know if it was necessarily settlements or like apartment buildings in a certain area where Palestinians have a claim to that land. And Israel decided not to do that, and they're throwing up all these apartment buildings in this area. And so that's made Obama mad, and Clinton and all. Although the United States and Israel have really good relations, it's been quite sketchy. It's been a little bit sketchy for the past few months since that announcement, and the Israeli defense organizations recently enacted a sort of identification requirement for citizens of the West Bank. You have to have a ID card, and if you don't have one, you're just going to get kicked out no matter what, even if you've been living there for years. So that's going to affect Palestinians who don't speak Hebrew and might not be able to get these ID cards. Even if they were born there, the Israelis are just going to deport them. So that made me think, oh, maybe there's some Jewish hate groups. And so evidently, yes, there are. This one in the United States, although some of the stuff they've done in the past is pretty violent and stuff, from what I've been told, the ones that exist in Israel are much worse. I've seen in a couple of movies, I don't remember the exact director of the movie, but it's a famous television personality. Anyway, he was in Israel, and he was showing like these very Orthodox Jews who would throw rocks at Palestinian women, spit on them, like kick children, do all kinds of really not stuff that you as a American wouldn't expect to see coming from one of these friendly Jewish people that we see walking down the streets of University Heights after the synagogue on Sundays. So yeah, pretty surprising. I mean, the Jewish race is traditionally advocating for peace between nations, but sometimes even the most peaceful groups, Hindus included, have militant factions that can cause a lot of trouble and brew a lot of hate, which is quite depressing.